Hi everyone, we're just getting ready to do our live. It's 11 o'clock. So Stefan's just popped down to the shop to grab something for me that I've forgotten. So I'm doing all the technology myself. Oh, 2 people on already. Watching me be completely inept. Whilst we're waiting for a few more, I'm just going to start melting the chocolate. Hi, Kate. Yo, up to 10. That's impressive. Oop, someone ran away. That might have been me. I'm still trying to get it to work on the other phone so I can see your comments. Make sure you say hello so I know who's here.
Yep.
Any more comments yet?
Oh, what have we got? At least the weather is reminding us to stay inside.
Hey, now I can see the comments from here. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Robin. You can see my high-tech Lego stand down here, holding the other phone so I can actually see comments. So at the moment, whilst you can't see me doing anything, I'm melting my chocolate in the microwave. I usually use a double boiler, but yeah, microwaving today. So the important thing with this is doing it in small bursts. I think I'm about to head down to 20-second bursts from 30-second bursts, because you don't want to burn it. So just bear with me. Hi Cass, how's that beautiful little baby of yours?
Jasmine.
And Jasmine? We got, oh, hello Jasmine. Hi Lynn. Oh, Lynn is from the Cake Decorators Guild of New South Wales, and this is the demo I was meant to be doing at the Illawarra branch. So hi everybody from the guild. So when you're melting chocolate, it is really important to keep stirring it because chocolate does like to hold its form. And if you just keep microwaving it until it looks runny, it's actually going to be a solid mess. Oh, hello Jasmine. Got more than one Jasmine. Hi Troy. Bob is bored out of his brain. Bubby's bored out of his brain. What is Abby helping? Abby's the beautiful puppy. Cass's beautiful Labrador ran on the same team as my Kaylee at the Canberra show. Alright, just about. Abby's drooling apparently. I'm glad we know which is the baby and which is the dog, because it could go either way. Jasmine says hello.
Hello.
Alright. Beautiful. Alright, so I have some lovely white chocolate melted here. This is just Nestle compound chocolate. I'm not really a curvature chocolate user. I'm a curvature chocolate eater, and I'll use it to make ganache, but other than that I generally use compound. Now, over the last 6 months at the shop, we have phased out, actually I don't want those to yet. We have phased out candy melts. Candy melts have generally been coming in from Wilton, and people are using them for coloured chocolate purposes like drips and that, because it was reasonably difficult to colour chocolate or to colour chocolate well. We've been stuck with the same 8 colours for the last 15-20 years in the candy colours. But sorry, excuse my dog and her squeaky toy. And a fabulous Australian company by the name of Colour Mill that comes from down on the coast, New South Wales, they've brought out these absolutely sensational colourings, okay? These are a fat-based colouring that have an emulsifier in it. So what that means is we can colour our chocolate with them, and the emulsifier will help keep that colouring mixed and also help that colouring stay vibrant. So you can see how it's not quite a nice thick colour. And look at this. Oh, pretty green. I'm actually going to mix some red up for you at the end so you can see. But look, it doesn't thicken the chocolate at all. It still stays nice and runny. And we're getting a very vibrant colour. I mean, obviously this is a grass colour. We're getting a nice vibrant colour without much effort. Excuse me, Kaylee, go away. Can someone put the dog out? Now, hi Annie, hi Emily. I'm going to make the grass around the outside of the cake. Now, I'm going to use a silicone pastry brush for this because the silicone picks up a reasonable amount of chocolate. In the past, I've not had a great deal of success with using traditional pastry brushes in chocolate, because if you put them down on the sink and the chocolate sets, then you kind of don't get the bristles coming up off the bench with the with the pastry brush. So literally all I'm going to do here is pick up some chocolate and paint some strokes. Okay, and we do want to layer it up a little bit. Now, on my stone bench that's nice and cold, this is actually going to set reasonably quickly, which is good because that means we can layer it. Now, I'm going to put this around a 6-inch cake, and I have roughly measured my baking paper, so I theoretically should get enough. Hi, Nicole! And so just by using this coarse bristled pastry brush, we're getting this lovely texture going on our chocolate. And it's going to look like grass. We have 37 people watching. Okay. Now, what I didn't do in my on my sample cake that I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tint this, what's left in here, which is only a tiny amount, with a little bit of emerald, just to change the colour slightly. And you know, because Colour Mill comes in 29 colours, people. It beats the pants off the 8 we've had for, you know, decades. It's so nice to have colour options for chocolate now. Alright, so I've just got some slightly darker stuff, and I'm just going to go over the top a little bit to add a little bit more dimension and texture. Every time you add another colouring technique to anything, as long as you don't get to mud, it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. Hi Emma. Okay. And so that's just giving me a little bit more colour. And you can see with the silicone pastry brush that even though this is starting to set in here because of how cold my bench is, it's still going to add texture and it's not just going to disintegrate the brush into my chocolate. So that's my grass. So can you guys see that? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to move that and then I'll get a little bit more baking paper out for the next bit. Uh-oh, bench space. Now, don't get too concerned when you're doing that, when you're moving it, if it cracks, because we do need to break it up anyway to put it around the cake. I need one more bowl. Alright, so now I'm going to do my brush strokes. And what I'm going to do is make a couple of other colours for my brush strokes. To keep a little bit aside. Okay. Hi, Catherine. All right, one more spoon. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to show you, hi Kylie, is how the white works. So, just can you see that one? I'll move that over here. So, just add some of the white to there and mix it in. Now, when people express concern about whitening chocolate or whitening buttercream and using colourings and chemicals and stuff, it's really important to keep in mind that any white food you eat pretty much has titanium dioxide in it. That's what all white pigment pretty much is titanium dioxide. But look at the difference in the two colours. One's white, one's yellow. All right, and then I'm going to make some rose. Oops, I didn't shake that one first. And with these, if you've used the more traditional chocolate colorings, like the ones that have been around for 30, 40 years, they're the powders. And with the powders, you get speckling because the powder has to dissolve before the colouring distributes. So if you are using powder colouring and things go a bit speckly, just reheat your chocolate slightly and go for it. Alright, so I have my three colours for my background and I'm just going to do some, I guess you'd call them brush strokes. Hi Janine. Just going to do a blob and a swish. Okay, this is really technical, guys. Blob and a swish. Blob and a swish. Find with this sort of thing, the more you just go for it and do it, the better it looks. If you start getting really concerned about how things are going to work out and whether they're even and that, you start getting a little bit too regimented. Oh, it's a pretty blue, that one, isn't it? I think, is that the baby blue? Yeah, that's the baby blue. So that's the pale blue. Guys, with any of your colourings, if you don't have the funds or the inclination to buy every colouring that's available, stick for your darker colours, because you can make lighter tones out of the darker colours. Can I fit one more? Fit one more over there. There we go. So that's my brush strokes done, and they'll form my background. Now, I need more bench space, because this is Jenny, and Jenny makes a mess. All right, so now I'm going to show you how the red works. This is, hi Kathy, the red. It is amazing, okay? That's all I've put in. See that? And not even gel colour, normal gel colour works this well. And this is why we don't stock candy melts anymore. because that beats the pants off any candy melt you will ever buy. And that was 1 squirt of red into the white compound chocolate. Okay, it's fantastic. All right. What am I making, says Kathy. I'm making an Easter cake, Kathy. Kathy is my cousin. Oh, I know what I forgot. Steph.
Yeah.
Can you see if, some bulldog clips?
Bulldog.
There should be some in my top drawer of my desk.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to make some little Easter eggs now, and I want to show you a little trick. In a couple of the photos people have been posting, people have been making chocolate. Perfect. But have got air bubbles in it. So I just want to show you a little trick of mine that I use to get air bubbles out. And I will warn you now, it's going to sound awful. Okay.
Are you going to hit things?
No, Emily, I'm not going to hit things. Okay. So just get the chocolate into the eggy mould. I'll just do a couple of red ones. Yeah, no, okay, so the colour milk colour can go in anything that has that doesn't mind fat going into it. So chocolate, buttercream, ganache are your big ones. You can use it in fondant. It ends up a little chalky looking in fondant, but it does work, certainly. If you put it in your meringue or your macarons, I can guarantee they're going to fail because I tried it just to make sure. What are there any natural colours? Roxy and Rich had a whole lot of fat dispersible natural colours, but when they came into the country and everyone was really, really excited about them, they were incredibly expensive. So I'm talking $16, $15 a colour, and they didn't sell. Yeah, absolutely, into cake mix. All right, so I've got my chocolate in my mould. Now to get rid of the air bubbles, come over to your sink. See that horrible noise? And that will shake any of your air bubbles to the top, and you won't get air bubbles in your chocolate. Okay, so now I'm going to make a couple of little eggs. Now, any of these 3D moulds, hi Sherilyn, they have these bumps on them, right? And this is so that you can put them together and they're going to match up. So if you've ever tried to make 3D chocolates and things don't match up properly, you need to make sure you've got your pairs together. So this one's got a little key on it, so you can clip it together. So this one, I'm going to do, no, I might save my pink for my bunny. I'm going to go blue. So I'm going to put chocolate in both sides, just a little bit of chocolate in both sides. And I'm just going to give it a hand. Now, it is really... Hi, Jenny! Kate's just saying that her puppy dog didn't like the noise of the chocolate on the bench. It is a horrible noise, I'll give you that. But it's a necessary noise. Alright, so these are probably smaller clips than I'd usually use, but they do the job. So I've got chocolate in both my halves, I'm squishing it together, and because it's keyed, I know that my halves are lined up properly. You can stick the halves of your moulds together with elastic bands. Bulldog clips are better. Now, I have a very dear friend of mine who may or may not be watching, and when we were in primary school, we were making chocolate like this in my mother's kitchen and forgot to clip anything. And I think Mum was still finding chocolate splatters all over her kitchen for a very, very, very long time. Who's eating the cake in the end? The cakes from yesterday, one went to my mother-in-law and one went to my mum. Today, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, okay. Kate uses pegs around hers, but you clip it down nice and tight and then you can give it a jolly good shake. Okay? And it helps if your chocolate's still nice and fluid at this point. Oh, look, my daughter's watching. Hi, Ems. Okay, so I've got most of the egg covered. All right, I'm going to put him in the fridge in a minute. Just going to do my bunny. Now, when your moulds have more than one cavity, like if you have 2 bunnies per mould, you will find that usually they will be in pairs. So you'll have one half of each that sits together nicely and the other half that sits together nicely. Okay, so come here, Mr. Bunny. This chocolate's getting a little bit set. Yeah, I'll be right. Oh, maybe I won't. Just set. I'm just going to microwave this for about 10 seconds to soften it up a little. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with chocolate, so much is temperature dependent, and once you get down to little bits, it's even more so temperature dependent. Now the other thing I'm doing is I'm just mixing what leftover white I have back in with the pink, just to bulk it up a bit. Okay. A little bit more. So you can use a pastry brush or a fine spoon to get it all nicely distributed if you really want to, but spoon's just as good. I'm thinking this chocolate might not be quite liquid enough. We'll get over that in time. Just gonna bulk it out a bit with the red. Okay. He looks like a Valentine's Day bunny now. He's got a bit of red and a bit of pink. Any questions while I'm making a colossal mess, guys? Oh, 41 people. I feel popular. All right. Oops. Bunny's gonna have a few holes in him, I think. Didn't quite make that chocolate soft enough. Just excuse me for a sec. Do you find that Yes, Jasmine, I do find that you will get a fat side to your mould and a thin side to your mould if you do it this way. A lot of the chocolatiers will fill the mould completely with chocolate and let it sit for a few minutes and then upend it and drip the excess chocolate out. And that way, when it starts to set from the outside to the inside, it will give you a thicker shell, and that's one way to get an even finish. And then you have to join your sides. How do I store my moulds? Badly. Generally in a container. I actually have an old Tupperware cake keeper, the one with the really deep lid. And that's what my moulds at home are stored in. Okay. Yeah, Kate says she rotates hers a couple of times and that helps. All right, I'm just going to make a big red egg as well. So if you're sitting there going, oh my God, the red doesn't fit with the pastel theme, it's all right, I have a plan. Now, hi Liz.
Be right back.
Hey Steph.
Yeah.
Can you come and put my chocolate in the fridge?
Sure.
The slave's hard at work today. Just the moulds. Don't need to worry about the baking paper. Jasmine says she can't be bothered rotating the moulds, but she'll try. Love you, Jazz. Things quiet at the real estate agent at the moment, or are you busy? All right. Oh, 2 seconds.
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
All right, that one can go in. So I'm just going to clean up a bit. Oh, there's the one on the sink too, honey.
There is. Oh, this one. Oh, yum.
All right. So just get that out of the way. Chocolate on the bench. It's usually easiest to let it set and then just chip it off with a plastic bench scraper. All right. So now I'm going to ganache the cake. Just going to soften the ganache for a sec. Get out a cake bowl that I forgot to do before. Is that in shot nicely? Yep. So I'm going to use the white truffle ganache that Bakehills make to ganache my cake. It's shelf stable, it sets nicely, it's lovely, and I've just nuked it for about 15 seconds and then give it a bit of a mix and then nuke it again. If you go too far and ever melt your ganache completely, don't worry too much because you can just pop it in the fridge. Except if you're doing a Facebook Live and then it's not quite so good. Now, we have a few cakes in our fridge at work that have demo written on them. And that's because they've met with an unfortunate end while they're coming out of their cake tins after we've cooked them. So I actually don't know what's wrong with this cake. Chances are it's missing a side, but we'll find out together shortly. Generally when we're teaching, I will deliberately give myself one of these damaged cakes just so I can show people how you go about fixing it, okay? Because not every time you make a cake is it going to come out perfectly, okay? All right. Let's have a look-see. Yep. This cake had an unfortunate accident with the palette knife because it's stuck to the side of the cake, so it's missing a chunk. It's missing a couple of chunks. All right, first thing I'm going to do is level it. Although, you know, I could really leave it like this and use the slope as a feature of the cake, but I just want to show you guys how to level it again because I had a few good responses to what I did yesterday. Can you use the ganache to level it? Oh, can you ganache first and then put over the top buttercream? Yes, you can. You do have to make sure your ganache is really well set. All right, so I'm going to mark this at 3 inches because 3 inches looks good. And again, you're just looking for the highest common height all the way around. Don't use like a really sharp paring knife or anything to measure your height because what will happen is by the time you've finished your dot to dot, you will lose your markings. All right, so fingers up. Keep your fingers out of the direct cutting line of the knife always. Okay, it's when you hold cakes like this, when you're leveling them, that you lose the tops of your fingers. And I'm just doing lots of little cuts until all my cuts meet up in the center. All right. And I usually you do that with the plastic under the cake because then I don't have to worry about getting the cake off the board. All right. Splodge your ganache down and pop my poor broken cake on top. I have no idea if it was you or me, Kylie, but I think we've both done it a few times. All right, ganache is a bit like buttercream. I fully subscribe to putting heaps on the top and then let the excess come over the sides and then work the sides around. Now, this is probably a touch soft for repairing what I've done to the cake, but if I just work it for a couple of minutes, it'll harden up a bit. Okay. Ganache is like the fix-all. It's an excellent glue. It's an excellent leveling agent. In saying that though, I have a few tirades that I give people in class. One is the cake leveler tirade. One is the edible versus inedible dust tirade. And the other one is no, you don't have to put ganache or buttercream under fondant. You can just put fondant straight on a cake if you want to. Does it taste better with ganache? Of course it does. Is it easier with ganache? Of course it is. Do you have to do it? No. There's a lot of essential cake decorating skills that have been lost in the last 10 years. And one of those is preparing a cake properly before you ice it with fondant. Okay. So we're still fighting the broken sides god, but you know, it's all right. Now, in saying that you can fix this with ganache, absolutely you can. Also consider what you're doing to the cake after you've ganached it. If I was going to fondant it, I would absolutely put it in the fridge, set up the ganache, and make sure it's perfect. We're putting grass up the side of this and covering it with shards. Nobody except you is going to know with 100% certainty that this cake was or wasn't perfect before you decorated it. So just keep that in mind. All right. Show work, absolutely everything's perfect. Weddings, absolutely everything's perfect. Customers, if it's a child's cake and they're paying $35 for it, you do it to make it look pretty, okay? You don't have to have everything 100% perfect at all times. Alrighty. Hence why I'm using my palette knife and not a ganache scraper. To me, that is enough. What I am going to do though, first up, is find the paper towel and clean up my board, because with the chocolate we're going to put around the bottom of this, we're not going to be able to clean up the board after it's on and not damage it. What did Kate say? Kate says mix up the top of the cake, the top bit of the cake, with ganache and make cake pops. Yeah, it doesn't last that long in this house. Anyone who's been in class with me on a Saturday, when we level off the cakes, the top of my cake generally goes onto a plate now into the shop for the staff to eat. It's just a perk. Alrighty, so that board's clean enough. Get this out of the way. I'll use you again shortly. So now I want a little angled palette knife. I'm old, I call them palette knives, not spatulas. So just a little angled one. And I'm going to bring my grass back. Oh, it's not quite set. Is it going to come apart? Yep. So, I'm just going to move him out of the way a bit. Can you see? So now I'm going to come up underneath with my palette knife and loosen my grass from the baking paper. Now, as I said, this will crack, and we need it to crack so that we can get it around our cake. Now, one thing up. So Stefan's just come and stolen some cake top to eat. Just going to use the side of my palette knife to give me a little bit of a straight edge. Here comes the daughter. It's a family affair. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of grass there. And you just start placing it around the cake. All the little cracks and that just add to the texture, guys. Hi, Miss. What have you got with your stencils, Miss? Your moulds or your palette knives? Can you see that going on? Yep, you can. Now, for those of us who do craft or art as well as cake decorating, when you're finished with a tool for cake decorating, you may take it to your craft room. Yes, you can't take it from your craft room to the kitchen, okay? We have too many nasties in our craft supplies to use, to then use them in the kitchen, I'm afraid. So your palette knives with your stencils in your craft room, they're gonna have to stay with your stencils in the craft room. All right, and there we go. I now have a nice grassy border around my cake. All right, don't chuck your leftovers. I'm gonna use that to fill in the top. Just gonna scrape these up into a little pile. All right. So my swishes. So now you got to decide what's the front. I'm going to put the longer grass at the back, and then I'm going to come in. Need to take a little bit off and start. Oops, hot fingers. Building up my background. Again, you need to take a little bit of length off so that you have a straight bottom. Hi Deb, hi Beck. So the hardest bit is getting the first piece to stay, and then you can build up the rest because they'll all balance on each other. Yeah, they will. And if they don't, use your leftover bits to support it behind. You guys see that all right? Without my hand in the way. Now, keep in mind that this is chocolate. And what I mean by that is that if it's hot in Australia, which it is, you are going to get a varying result from day to day. So please don't try this and hope that your shards are going to stay okay in the middle of summer. Easter weather or winter is what you want for this sort of technique. Okay, just making myself a little bit of support. I'm going to make him shorter. Make the pink one over there. And I think one more little white one. Yeah. Alright, so now I've got my backdrop for my bunny. How's that look? Ooh. Looks like the hungry caterpillar's been through where my fingers have been. Alright. So, let's get this stuff off. Sorry about the noise, guys. Can't imagine how that's going to translate through the phone. Just going to move him to the side for a minute. And I am going to introduce you to this fabulous, fabulous thing. It's called chocolate polish. Chocolate polish is awesome. So, I think I'm going to use rose gold, ingot, and amethyst. Yeah, let's do that. So, chocolate polish is a dust that only adheres to chocolate. Well, adheres to a high-fat environment. You can mix it with rose spirits and put it through your airbrush. It is fine enough for that. Please note... Oh, hello, Monica! I haven't seen you forever. Please note that you can't put all luster dust through your airbrush because it will clog it up. All right, so look at that. So pretty. show you that on some pink. So what colour you put behind the chocolate polish will change how it shows up. Is this one? And the fluffier the brush you use with your chocolate polish, the better it comes up. Because you're literally polishing the chocolate. Now, I'm not expecting this to show up as beautifully through the internet as it does. You can see that sheen as it does in person. All right, so get my bits out of the fridge. Yeah, love chocolate polish. Hi, Beck. Okay, so is it set? No, he needs the freezer. Unfortunately, with chocolate, you can't rush it. Yep, he needs the freezer. Well, that one looks promising. I don't know if you can see it, but see how some of it looks foggy and some of it looks shiny? This bit over here looks different because it started detaching from the mould already. And that's generally how you know if your chocolate is ready to come out, because it will detach from the mould. All right, so there's my red egg. Just going to take my palette knife. I'm just going to take the creases off. Now, I'm going to go in and make him a rose gold egg, because, you know, who doesn't love rose gold? If you're doing this for something important, I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend, you know, those old school photo handling gloves, because when your fingers touch the chocolate and the heat melts, you will leave fingerprints on your chocolate. Hi, Kathy. So how pretty is that? I'm gonna put him here. Oops. I'm gonna put him there and hopefully not kill the rest of my backdrop. I'm just gonna give him a little support. No, you guys can't see that. Nope. And make sure you have your seams to the back. Okay. Now, my little itty bitty chocolate guys, they should be set. Okay. Now, usually I wouldn't do red in this, but I'm going to do, as I just did with the big egg, I'm going to do rose gold over the red. I just really wanted to show you how well that colouring works. Oh, hi Vanessa. Hi Michelle. Out from yonder Goulburn. Chocolate polish is the bomb, isn't it? My record at a cake decorating open day was selling, I think we sold 78 chocolate polishes in one day. I think that's the record. Okay, get some gold onto the pink. And with the pink and the red behind the colouring, it's giving it a warm feeling. Hi Alison. And get some amethyst. Now, usually, if I'm doing this in a more controlled environment, I would do one colour of chocolate polish on each piece of paper and then tap all the leftovers back into the pot, okay? Because you need a lot to go on, but it does come off nicely. So it does, it does shed a lot that you don't need. All right, my little palette knife, and I'm going to stick some eggies. I'm just going to use the leftover ganache to stick the eggs around the bottom. With metallic dust, it is very important to understand the difference between non-toxic or decorative purposes only, it's the same classification, versus 100% edible or food approved, okay? Ones that don't have 100% edible or food approved on them should not be consumed, all right? A lot of the glitters and that have a plastic base, and so it's up to you, the decorator, to know what you can and can't use, especially if you charge other people for cakes, okay? But the lady in the cake shop told me I could. I don't believe would be a valid excuse in court. And it's really important. So like if people have conditions like diverticulitis and stuff like that, the plastic compounds can build up in people's systems, and it's not good, okay? I will say that anything in my shop that looks like food is food. I don't have a single dust or sprinkle or anything like that in the shop that isn't 100% edible. If it looks like food, it is food. Okay, come here, Bunny. All right, Bunny's just popping out now. Popping out. He looks like he's met with a horrible accident. It's all right. I'll fix him. So again, I'm just getting rid of those seams. You can do this with a paring knife. On me, I just use what's handy. Be careful you don't go in too far. I'm going to make some rose gold because rose gold's my favourite. Got any questions, guys? So we have a nice stash of chocolate polish in the shop. We also have a nice stash of colour mill as well. Chocolate polish, I believe, is made in Italy, but the colour mill is a small startup business in New South Wales, so please, please, please support them where you can. Got my rose gold bunny. He's so sparkly. I might get a little bit of a wave going on there. And then you can get all your little bits and pieces of leftover and cover what ganache you can see. So that's him, guys. I have no idea how long I've been prattling on at you, but that's my chocolate polish Easter cake with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colour mill colouring. Hi Jane, how goes the cupcake making? Whilst I'm waiting for questions, you like it, Mez? I'm just going to colour up my blue eggie. Now, you don't always have to use these eggs as a one piece. Hi, Janine. You can just go, oh, did Chelsea make that massive egg, Janine? Janine's daughter, Chelsea, bought an Easter egg mould that was bigger than her head. So yes, before I got distracted, hi Missy. Yes, so what we do is we upload the video as soon as we finish the Facebook Live, so it'll be available. We're still waiting to see whether we can upload it to YouTube. You have to be able to. So there's the big eggie. I could pop him in there somewhere, but it's probably overkill. Yeah, so yes, you can watch the video from the beginning. It's no problem. Oh, yep, Steph's just replied to that. Any more questions, peeps? I keep playing with it. I have to stop. I have to learn how to walk away from the cake. I teach my students, you've got to learn when to walk away from the cake, and I'm really not good at it myself. You're very welcome, Lee. I'm actually quite enjoying doing these Facebook Lives. I was a bit nervous before the first one. I didn't know if I was going too slow or too fast, but yeah, we'll keep doing them. And then once we get back in the shop and Friday demos start again, we'll be able to video demos now because I have my trusty Lego phone stands. Alright guys, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to post any comments or questions in the video. Also, this is our last Easter one, so start shooting through ideas for other things you want to see. I do have a macaron one planned. Fingers crossed it works. Macarons are evil. And I'll show you how I make my macarons. They're by no means perfect, but they usually do the job. So yeah, send me through what you'd like to see. Alright, oh, Mother's Day, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, phone stand. Alright guys, I will see you later. Remember, we are open tomorrow from 10 till 1. We will be home delivering tomorrow. Then we won't be home delivering again till Tuesday. And then the shop will open again on Wednesday from 1 till 4. Alright guys, catch you later. Bye.